people, howdy. Ramble over with me to the painted desert where the Navajo live. I love 'em. I love their country. If you get it in your blood, you don't mind a little heat or grit in your victuals. Why, one day of them brown rocks and purple sage is worth a whole year in a crowded town. The Navajo come originally from the Gobi Desert in China. They look like Mongols, and they build their house just like the Mongolian yurt, only of mud, and it blends into the desert so you could walk bang into one of them Navajo hogans before you'd know it was a house. And the interior sure is nice and cozy. Home of Pa and Ma Short Whiskers and the baby. They had baby sewed up for the winter, but spring cleaning is on. They call the baby Chi. That's Indian for little fat. First miracle of their love right down from the heaven land of the singing eagle. They're going to give Fat his first bath, maybe his last. First off, he's got to be fortified for the awful ordeal, making him knight of the bath. See, all modern improvements, bathtubs and everything. Off comes the velvet jacket. Used to be Pop Sunday breeches. No hot water or perfume for Fat. Him heap big outdoor man. Hi-yi! And no soap. Reckon Navajo never heard of soap. Well, a lot of whites the same way. Fat didn't cotton to that. He wants them warm woolen blankets. That cold water darn near turned the red man blue. But Navajo babies just can't help laughing. You see their cradle? It's the best thing ever. You hang it up, bugs can't get the baby, and you drop it, and the baby ain't hurt none. Got an umbrella over his head, too. And say, if he can get out of that, he's a Houdini. Papa's big man. Do you get that hairbrush? The Navajo have right nice hair. That's too nice a little gal to have her hair manicured with a cornstalk comb. Say, I wonder how some of you farmers would like to try raising critters here. With fodder so darn scarce, the animals have to cover 1,000 acres to get one square meal. The herder has to be policeman, too, fighting off 100 wild things laying for each of his critters. Here's Nishja, 12-year-old Navajo, riding the hot desert alone all day because his father, Joe Shavehead, is too busy. That's him. Indians call him 10 sleeps or lazy knees. His wife calls him plenty, but he never answers. Now, all Nishja's got to fight robbers with is a bow and arrow. The coyote's the brainiest robber, the slinking cur laying just out of arrow range, waiting to grab himself a lamb. And if he can't get meat, he eats grasshoppers. He yowls kinda choked up like he'd swallowed a hopper wrong end, too. The Navajo wouldn't shoot him nohow. That's their superstition. They only scare him off. The Navajo is quick, and that coyote knows it and keeps his distance. Well, now it's time to put the goats to bed. Say, ain't that some corral? Branches and wires easier, and that counts with the Indian. And it's dinner time for the baby. That's Nishja's last chore of the day, feeding that baby. And he ain't waiting on her whiskers. Say, things is kind of mixed up here. A white goat nursing a black sheep, the little prodigal. And maybe he ain't some attached to his mammy. But this 12-year-old shepherd's only a kid, too. He wants some for himself, and he's scared there won't be none left. Mammy tries to beat it, but Nishja scores with a leg holt, and he freezes to it. Catch as catch can. See, there's the can. Navajo milk goats from aft instead of midships. The old lady won't stand for no canning business. She walks out on him, and the boy thinks, oh, heck, keep your old milk. But he aims to get himself a pet, a baby owl. Now, the Navajo have always believed the great horned owl is a devil bird, the night witch. Old-time priests, medicine men started that. to keep the Indians from killing off the owls which ate the varmints which ate their crops. Them old medicine men was pretty wise owls themselves. And so's this one. He hides. The great horned owl stands 2 foot high. He can see by day as well as night. You can hear him hoot for miles, but he flies without making a sound with his wings, and that gigantic shadow in the moonlight sure puts a scare into you. Growed up, he'll be maybe 6 foot from tip to tip. Oh, the boy sees his old grandpop coming. Old Chief Charlie High Hat. Name for the old hat he wears, given him by Kit Carson 75 years ago, when Charlie was scouting for Kit. Charlie's 104 years old. Traded his blanket for some window curtain pajamas. Once a rip-roaring rider, now look at him. Grandpa didn't have the heart to tell the boy that his new pet was a witch, and he hoped that Granny wouldn't raise a row about his new pajamas. There they are. Well, dinner's about ready. Charlie's wife, old Mother Wrinkles, is the cook. She's younger than him, being only 99. But she can plant the little corn patch and tend it, and then grind the corn by hand into meal to make these cakes. Them and goat's meat is their diet, with coffee, the one habit they have borrowed from the white man, vegetables they never see. But Granny's mind was on that owl. So after dinner she says, "Come into the parlor, boys. I got something to say to you." Their Indian pipe of peace has been busted for years, so they roll their own. Being a wise wife, Wrinkles says nothing about the witch till smoking is well underway. But when Indians do talk, they got the world beat. They talk 2 languages at once, sign language and word language. But if Charlie spoke 10 languages, he couldn't square himself for that owl. Granny stood it pretty well until the fool bird started raising Cain. Her love for the boy might have kept her quiet then. The darn owl hadn't flapped his wings right onto her neck. She tells Charlie, "You get that witch right out of my house." Oh, he says it's only a pet for the boy. But she knows it's an evil spirit and only death can come to anyone having it. Oh, Charlie says that's old medicine man stuff. But she warns him against forsaking their gods for the white man's madness, putting such ideas in the children's head. The kids are all right, he says. It's you that's behind the times. And she flattens him. She says she's been married to him 85 years, but if he don't throw that witch out, she'll divorce him right now. And he's licked. Navajo gives his wife the right to divorce him. All she has to do is chuck his blanket and saddle out the door and point her finger due east, and he's divorced. And that ain't behind the times. That's ahead of Reno. And he likes her home, and he likes the cooking. Besides, he's getting kind of used to her by now. So the boy's pet is out. There's no whining. Unquestioning obedience is the habit of Navajo children. Maybe that's why they're never punished, only counseled. The pet goes back, and peace descends again upon the little household. Their sleeping arrangements are very primitive. All lie down together in their work clothes. Well, Charlie's got 'em all beat at that game. He wears pajamas all day so's to be ready come nighttime. Yes, they're a queer people, but I don't know, but they've got nearer to nature's heart than we have. We've both got the same God, only they wrap theirs up in a whole lot of superstition. And now as the soft amethyst haze creeps down to meet the drowsy purple sage, let's leave the Navajo to his dreams and his memories of 1,000 years. Navajo come originally from the Gobi Desert in China. They look like Mongols, and they build their house just like the Mongolian yurt, only of mud, and it blends into the desert so you could walk bang into one of them Navajo. love their country. If you get it in your blood, you don't mind a little heat or grit in your victuals. Why, one day of them brown rocks and purple sage is worth a whole year in a crowded town. Navajo. Well, people, howdy. Ramble over with me to the Painted Desert where the Navajo live. I love 'em.